Hi, this is JD doing Dr. Coco from Rockschool Bass Guitar Grade 2, and that's the 2012 syllabus. Full performance with some tips afterwards.
Dr. Coco. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so I've got 4 tips to help you when you're learning Dr. Coco. The first of these is that you want to get used to the swing blues feel before you go about learning the notes. So I suggest you take the rhythm of bar 2 and practice it on its own. Now that rhythm is a quarter note, 2 eighth notes, quarter note, 2 eighth notes. Without the swing, we would perhaps do it like this: tea, coffee, tea, coffee. But the swing feel means we're going to treat the pair of eighth notes as long and then short, long and then short. So that becomes tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee. So the ka is a bit longer. Tea, coffee, tea, coffee. Okay, so I suggest you practice that over and over. Get your metronome set up at about 100 beats per minute, a little bit slower. Take that starting note in bar 2 and practice that rhythm on its own. Tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee. You want to be really comfortable with that rhythm before attempting the piece. So just to clarify, a straight rhythm would be tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, and swing is tea, coffee, tea, coffee. And then of course with your metronome you can increase the speed and do that a little faster each time. The other swing rhythm in the piece is in bar 10. I think it's worth practicing that on its own as well. That rhythm is based just on eighth notes. So this swing rhythm would be coffee, 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 coffee. And again, practice that one on its own. Get really used to it. Set your metronome clicking away. Take that note on fret 5 there and practice that rhythm. So you really get used to that long short pattern with the eighth notes. I'm enhancing the swing blues feel by using plucking hand muting. What I'm doing is after the note, I'm just silencing it with the other plucking finger. So the swing rhythm can make slightly more controlled with that method. So once you're used to the swing feel and you're learning the piece, my second tip is to use the first finger in fret 3, and for the notes in fret 5 to mostly use the third finger, and to support that third finger if you can by butting up the second finger against it. I think it's quite fatiguing to just stretch it, so we can support that note. So for example, bar 3, we can do like that instead of... So yeah, Because the first finger is in fret 3, you would call that third position. It's mostly in the third position, and then the notes in fret 5 fall under the third finger. The exception to this position is in bar 22, where it moves up to position 5. So the first finger is in line with fret 5. And the third finger now plays on fret 7. Now what I'm going to suggest is in bar 24, you don't change back to position 3 until the second note there. So let me just play that for you again from bar 23. I think that's a little bit more controlled than zipping back to position 3 at the beginning of bar 24. Save it for the second note, that movement. My final tip for you is in section C, make sure that there's no noise in the rests, and you can do that by muting either with the left hand against the strings, or again with plucking hand muting resting against the strings. So if we didn't have that muting, it would sound like this, and that note would be uncontrolled. So you want to make sure it's a solid quarter note and then silence. So yeah, that's about it for Dr. Coco. Enjoy. Cheers.